Everyone please stand with me. We're going to have our opening prayer. Tonight we have Eric Kincaid from Morganton Baptist Church. And Eric and I kind of met under adverse conditions, but the Lord knows all things, as we know. And Eric, a couple weeks ago, preached my sister's funeral and did a great job, and I really got to know him and appreciate him, and so he will lead us in a prayer at this time. Eric, come on up.
Let's go to the Lord in prayer. Oh, Father God, we thank you so much for having the freedom that we have through your power, your might, that we can come to a building without any fear, that we can sit together and reason together without fear of bombs. We know, Lord, that there are many wars right now taking place around our world, but we know you have given us grace and mercy, freedom. But ultimately, Lord, you have given us the grace and the salvation, forgiveness of our sins through your Son, Jesus Christ, who died on the cross, rose on the third day to give us eternal life. Lord, I pray now for every person here, and I pray for our commissioners, knowing that there are very difficult decisions they have to make. A lot of stress comes with their service to our community. And I pray, Lord, you give them wisdom and direction and understanding. I pray for their families as well, as they take time out of their families to serve our community. But each person that's here also, I pray, Lord, you give peace, mercy, and grace upon them and protection. Ultimately, Lord, you do a work of salvation. Grow us, keep us close and clean. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
Thank you. Mr. Sir?
Yeah, join me in the pledge of allegiance. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you all. Okay, under unfinished business, we have the approval of the minutes from the September 26th regular scheduled board meeting. Commissioner Search, any errors or omissions in those minutes?
Didn't see you, Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Patrick?
I have none, Chairman. I appreciate you.
All right. I'll make the motion that we approve those minutes from the September 26th regular scheduled board meeting and ask for a second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, moves into new business. We have board discussion action on a contract and agreement with Fannin County and the Fannin County Chamber of Commerce. No, yeah, I forgot the name of it. So this is a renewal or a contract. Is that right, Ms. Walker, that we have
Yes.
with the chamber? And there hasn't been, we didn't increase anything to the beyond the 6% what we've had, and they're still our fiscal agent for the
The typically,
TPD.
yes.
Okay.
All the percentages are the same on that as they were before.
Okay. If anybody would like a copy of this, I'll be glad to print this off for you. It is several pages, and I don't think it'll hear me say that. If you do, get a little hoarse and. Commissioner Patterson, any discussion on this?
No, I do not have any. It looks pretty standard to me.
Okay. Mr. Surgeon?
No, so just a 2-year for 2 years.
Yeah, 2 years, and then it has annual renewals after that. But obviously, we have a clause that we can, looks like there's a clause.
Get out if we want to get out.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
All right. Being said, I'll ask for a motion to approve the agreement between Fannin County and Chamber of Commerce.
I'll make that motion.
I'll ask for a second.
I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
This is, this board discussion action with just a bid opening on the Fannin County Library, and this is for a architect, if I'm not mistaken, is that correct?
The
Yes.
architect and design.
Architect and design.
Do you look over the design?
I think there's several.
Did you mention like basements or that one? Do both?
Yeah, there's gonna be several.
I think we have 7 bids, right?
We do have 7 bids. We will announce the times that those were received. They all came in, by the deadline, which was October the 6th by 3 p.m.
There's nothing on this, this is the cover letter that was white.
Okay.
We have like 3 types of things for extra business.
Digital accepting
This is provided by Tinker Ma LLC out of Chattanooga, Tennessee. And this is a proposed construction fee structure of 5.93% of construction cost for the new public facility, considering a total construction budget of $4 million. This fee proposal equates to $237,200. And it didn't list, the fees that would be, the disciplines that would be included in this fee.
Mr. Osborne, before you move on to 237,200, that includes what?
It includes architecture, interior design, including FFE selections, structural engineering, civil engineering, landscape design, mechanical engineering, plumbing engineering, electrical engineering, including AV design, fire protection engineering. Under the advisement and recommendation of team professionals, the following discipline and services may be necessary and would be considered a reimbursable expense, so not included in the above. Site surveying, geotechnical exploration, phase 1 or phase 2 environmental site assessment, hazardous material surveys, special inspections, FFE procurement.
So we don't, I'm not gonna get a total
Well, it was
one,
$237,200 based on a $4 million construction budget.
all right, thank you.
Go back to you. This is from
Nealman, Paston Smith.
I'm glad you could see that because I
You
don't.
don't see it over there?
All right,
Yeah.
McMillan, Paston, P-A-Z-D-A-N, and Smith Architecture. And this is for basic services for a budgeted $4 million library, 8.5%, which equates to $339,540. Reimbursement reimbursables are cost plus 15%. It says this percentage is based on the size of the library and quantity of services being provided. As the facility size increases and the construction cost increases, the percentage of construction costs decrease to 8% as economy of scale is achieved. And included in the basic services are architectural, interior design, structural, MEP, fire protection design performance specs, permitting assistance, contract administration, which includes 12 site visits. The following are typically additional services, but in this case are included in our basic service lump sum fee: civil engineering, landscape, wayfinding, low voltage technology and security, cost estimation, bidding assistance.
Were they out of?
They are out of Greenville, South Carolina, and their bid time, it arrived on October the 6th at 9:43 a.m.
Alright, this says it's from Matthew Cash out of Canton, Georgia. And Sherry has indicated that this arrived October the 6th at 12:10 p.m. Place specialist is what the letterhead says. And the total fee is $435,512 based on a total design and professional service percentage of 10.9% of the construction value, and includes full design and documentation for permit documents, bidding and negotiation support, and construction administration for the following disciplines: general architecture and interior design, fixtures, furnishings, and equipment selection, civil engineering and landscape architecture, structural engineering, mechanical, electrical, and plumbing engineering, fire protection and fire alarm engineering, performance drawing and specs, low voltage engineering, cost estimation. Expenses for geotechnical reporting, surveying, environmental assessments, printing, courier fees, and shipping costs will be invoiced directly plus 10% and are not included in the total fee above. This is Architectural Collaborative out of Athens, Georgia. It was received October the 6th by Sherry Walker at 10:32 a.m. That has a flash drive in it. Put all that back in. of the construction budget, and it says this assumes construction budget is inclusive of FF&E and contingency allowances. This fee proposal is based on this results in a fee of $283,500 at 7.662%. And that's based on a $3.7 million construction budget. In other words, I think they've taken the $4 million, subtracted approximately their fee, and come up with 3.7, and then back-ended it into it. But their budget is their fee is $283,500. This includes architecture and interior design, including FF&E selections and specifications and signage and wayfinding design, landscape architecture, planning, civil engineering, including stormwater management engineering for a site with over 5,000 square feet of new construction, structural engineering, mechanical, electrical, and plumbing engineering, telecommunications engineering, voice, data, and wireless network infrastructure, specific consultation, construction administration fees, assume a 10-month construction schedule. Air Collaborative will charge $6,750 a month additional services for every month beyond the 10th month. And then it tells what is not included. And then it gives a fee schedule for what they consider to be reimbursables and the fee for that.
So land on that one there, if they go over 10 months, every month that it's over the 10, it's $6,000 more.
$6,750 more.
Wow, nice of them.
This one was received from CAS Architecture out of Lawrenceville. It was received by Miss Julie Locke, October the 5th at 10:45 a.m. So what do you think this is? There's several pages here. When you're evaluating, you'll want to go through because it talks about how it's already, our budget's $4 million and they think this is a $7 million project. But it says, if Ms. Walker and I are reading this together correctly, Exhibit B, professional design fees, is $282,000.
But they say it's a
They think it's
$7 million.
It says that they credited an estimate your project is actually designed as over budget, which is common for public libraries, we offer the following ideas to consider to help reduce cost, and then it goes through that. And they come up with a value in engineering cost of $6,489,275. And then their fee for this would be $282,000.
But they didn't get the memo, did they?
But that's the way I'm reading
That's
it.
the way I'm
It's
reading it.
very,
Yeah.
it is not straightforward, but that's the way.
And that was CAS, right?
Says architecture out of Lawrenceville, Georgia.
Okay.
There, looks like it reduces it to, $6,489,275.
That was their value engineering reduction.
They saved us about $510,000.
This was received on October the 6th at 12:50 p.m. This is CPL, Architecture, Engineering, Planning.
Where they at?
CPL,
Woodstock.
Architectural planning and what?
Architectural, Engineering, Planning.
All right, their base architectural fee, based on a $4 million project at 6.6% is $198,000.
Is it 6 point what?
6,
And it's how much?
based on a budget of $4 million, total project budget, construction value estimate of $3 million.
What was that, 100 and something thousand, oh yeah,
The base fee is $198,000.
thank you.
At 6, and that equates, it says, to 6.6%.
So let's say it's a $4 million project, but they're thinking they can do it for 3, is that right?
Sir, the way I'm reading this, just to some things broken down, some. Says that survey, geo-environmental and environmental would be included, would be not included. That it has another fee for $45,000. And I think that's included in this, but and then because it then has 3 presentations coming, to make 3 presentations at $5,000.
Try the other, there you go. Stab yourself. It's not good for your nails, is it?
Oh, I
You
didn't
ever
see
do it?
that.
Back in your pocket, huh?
There you go.
She's clearly the winner on
Well.
Christmas morning. Alright.
Pull tab.
Okay, there's a whole bunch of little books in there that we're not gonna get out. Here is the zip drive.
And this is from TSW, which is, out of Atlanta, Georgia. The bid was received on October the 6th, at 8 a.m.
Alright. Fee is based on an 8.5% of construction cost of $4 million, which includes which equates to $340,000. In addition to basic services such as architecture, interior design, structural engineering, MEP engineering, and low voltage design, we are also including the cost of supplementary services that include civil engineering, landscape architecture, F&E design and selection, cost estimate, geotechnical work, and site survey. This fee also includes reimbursable expenses which are not to exceed $15,000. Exclusions, not included. Additional surveying or engineering needed to improve off-site downstream conditions, rezoning, annexation, or variance assistance, design of off-site improvements, hydraulic analysis, pressure testing of water system, retaining wall design, ecological or environmental services, off-site utility extension design, sewer capacity analysis or pump stations, construction stacking, as-built surveys or engineer as-built certifications, notice of termination, preparation and submission, NPDES monitoring and sampling, traffic studies, deviation from jurisdictional design standards, application fees, submittal fees, and other fees required by governing agencies are not included. If geotechnical borings are required in wooded areas, it will be necessary to clear paths to boring locations with a front-end loader. The subcontractor for this additional service would be about $2,200. For geotechnical works, should poor conditions be encountered such that additional work would be in the best interest of the project, we would contact you prior to proceeding with work which is beyond the above scope. Engineering modeling of the building, LED certification and other industry standards, suitability related to certifications.
And that's based on $4
$4
million.
million.
Uh-huh, yeah. And I think that's all of
That's all
them.
of them.
Like to, obviously with most it's not the next meeting, but it's the one, is it the one after that?
Do you want to allot for 30 days for the proposals to be gone over? Do you want to do it, sooner than that? Any suggestions? on
Has those
putting
got
forward?
time limits on them?
Keith?
I didn't see time limits on the video, so.
If it was listed in the proposal, the bid, then, I don't know if I want to.
There's only two of them.
Maybe we can get it done,
do that, live that with the board, make our recommendations, and then it's up to the board who they pick. Yeah, I think it said on there 30 days.
30 days.
Yeah.
What we'll do is we'll get together, probably interview at least 2 or maybe 3 of these, and have some personal face-to-face time with them. We'll make our recommendations and then be up to y'all.
What would that meeting
That,
be?
it would be the first, regular meeting in November, which would be the 14th.
30 days.
Yeah.
Does that sound good?
Is that-
That's
does
fine
that
with us.
sound
November 14th?
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, so that being said, I'll make a motion to table this, until the November the 14th meeting. I'll ask for a second on that.
Yes.
All in favor? All right. All right, that brings us down to public commentary. Anybody like to come up, please raise your hand, come on up.
Is that not more than 30 days?
It is, but that, it kinda has to go with our meeting. I mean, we could probably have a call meeting, but what we would end up doing is probably just have it on a regular meeting. Maybe we could, have everybody here. We good? Yes, ma'am.
May I come forward?
Sure.
Nancy Thatcher, 167 Pine Grove Drive, Blue Ridge. I was here a month ago about continuous barking dogs, and it continues. First, I'd like to know if anybody's found out anything or done anything. I haven't heard a word.
Did you find out anything on that? Cause I know you were checking into some stuff with her.
We've got to get our ordinance in place for issuing citations.
And I know we did have a, code enforcement officer just start with us. And so, I mean, he and I's had this conversation this week. Well, I say this week, I'm sorry, Friday, we had this conversation. And I had asked him to come out there and different times and see if we could, record that as well. And at which time we were trying to go it that way, we need to find out what we need to do about it. Which he can write the summons as far as that goes.
He'd been hired, so
Yeah.
that's a step.
So we can write a summons in that case, not a citation, but we could do that. So,
You can do that presently, under the present rules?
as he just come in, yes,
Okay.
yeah, so
You
we
know
will
when that
come out
might
and
be done?
we'll try to do it as soon as possible.
He couldn't do it on anything that's happened past tense, he would have to come out and observe, and then write the summons based on it.
Okay, things are escalating. There are a lot of gunshots. Found this bullet right outside my front door this morning.
So did you call the sheriff's office on that?
I did not.
And that would be the first thing I would do if I found a bullet outside my house like that. If somebody was shooting in my house, I believe I would be calling law
They shot it
enforcement.
in the air and it landed in my driveway, right in front of my house.
I believe I'd be calling and making a report about that.
Okay, so I can still do that. I have not touched
Absolutely.
it. I put it, you know,
Yeah.
turned this wrong side out and picked it up.
I absolutely would.
Okay, what about, shots for these dogs? Is that something current or is that something that's being worked on?
Nope, we can actually go out and make sure they've had the rabies
Don't
I'm not
know.
sure.
Don't know. Animal control is here.
Look, if we went out and asked them folks if they've had, updated rabies shots on their dogs.
Oh, well.
Okay.
I thought maybe something might have happened where somebody's been out there because we've got these gunshots.
We don't go on gunshots, I'm sorry. I mean,
No, I'm just
not gonna
saying,
send
they like to
animal control.
retaliate.
Yeah,
Is what I'm saying. It
So-
feels like a
yeah,
retaliation.
but I
for
most
some
definitely would
action.
call the sheriff's office and make them aware of that.
Okay. Let's see, what else? So they've gotta be vaccinated. They can get proof of that, right?
Mhm.
And will there be some communication to me about any of this, or?
Absolutely. Just as quick as he checks that out, and if he says they don't, I'll keep in touch with him myself.
Okay, and what about me knowing what's going on?
I'll keep in touch with you
Do you have
about
any
what is going
information?
on. Yeah, I got your email and your phone number, remember? So, I got you.
Okay, I know you do.
Yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, that's the main thing, and also with these animals, to protect them from extreme temperatures. As far as I have seen, there's no doghouse, so in the winter, they're out there on their own. Storms, whatever, no shelter at all. They were barking after 11 last night and before 6 a.m. today.
And they are nonstop all day, huh?
They do a lot.
Okay.
You said escalated, have you been in, does this lady give you any trouble?
I have texted her, and when I text her and just say dog barking, she tells me I am disturbing her peace. Other times, she just says, and, that's all I've done.
All right.
I'll look forward to hearing from you.
Yes, ma'am.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Just that.
All right, anyone else? Yes, sir.
Okay, I'm back. I have to tell you that I've heard about the ordinance changing, but it hasn't happened. Meanwhile, I have 12 dead chickens, and nothing was done about it because the attorney representing the county or the city here, she didn't even open up my file. She just decided $40 a chicken for 4 chickens, case closed. That's not good enough. It really isn't. You know, this doesn't count the money that's gone into feed, raising these chickens. You know, I had specialty chickens, and they're all gone. And I'm still sitting here waiting for something to happen, and at this point, it's not even the money. I don't need the money. Not that I think this gentleman's gonna pay me the $150 or $150. But I need to know when something's going to happen. Because this attorney got away with scot-free with the basic, give me a phone call on a Friday afternoon and say, sorry, it's my fault, I didn't look at the file. That's not acceptable. And I wanted to say this today because I want it to be on record.
Will you state your name for the record? please?
Sorry, Yvonne D'Angelo.
Where you live, Miss?
I live off of Aska, my address is 263 Ridgetop Lane, Blue Ridge, Georgia. And these dogs that killed my chickens, not only was my file there, but there was a file of these 3 dogs on my property, a video of them killing my chickens. How can he get away with this?
Who's the owner of this, do you know the owner?
His name is Bradley Jody, or Jody Bradley. He's got 3 dogs. Well, I've heard that he's had up to 10 dogs. Supposedly they do have their rabies shots. But he's not gonna take responsibility. Just a few weeks ago, there was some other post on Facebook. His dogs were out again. He's allowed to keep these dogs in deplorable conditions because if you had seen them, my heart went out to them. And the way he treated them when he took them off my property and threw them into his truck was unacceptable. And as many people had told me, why didn't you just shoot them? I can't just shoot a dog when I get home and I'm not seeing him at that moment with a chicken in his mouth. Sorry. But, like I said, my biggest anger right now is that this attorney did not do her job. And that to me was unacceptable. Because any money that I get at this point, make it note that I will give it to a rescue group. But for this attorney just to call me up and say, I'm sorry, even if I have to pay it out of my own pocket, that's not acceptable. It really isn't.
So this boy, this man, he come over there to get his dogs and.
Yes, he did.
So he knew that his dogs destroyed your chickens.
Yes, he did.
And he.
And when he showed up before animal control, before the law got there, all he said is, I'll take care of it, I'll take care of it. As soon as they showed up, his whole speech changed and said, well, yes, my dogs are on their property, but can you prove that it was my dogs? Well, yeah, they're on video. They're on video.
So you have video evidence.
Yes, I do.
Did you see that evidence? Did the county, did the deputy see it?
I'm not sure of that.
Okay. You still have that?
Yeah, and they have it also.
Patrick down, it was on animal control, and he downloaded, he watched the video and he downloaded it.
Yeah.
So the videos were there, and to me, this is just totally unacceptable.
I'm sorry.
How many did it show on the video that you saw?
That's been a while since we did that. Can't say for sure.
Okay. You can get a copy of that though, right?
Were you the officer that came to my house that day?
No.
Okay, because the officer that came to my house took the pictures of the chickens that were all over the side of the property, the back of the property, in the coop. What you saw, some of my cameras weren't working, but the ones that we got were the chickens, the dogs in the run. And that I can think of right now, I wanna say there was 4 or 5 that were dead in there. But the officer that came out took pictures of other chickens. And originally, I thought there were 13. 2 days later, we found one of the chickens injured in the back of the property at the bottom of the mountain, and we had to go out there and go get it. It took me 2 months to rehab this chicken, who now walks with a limp because it had a broken leg and a broken wing. And once again, it still comes out, the same thing. The gentleman, the owner of these dogs, this was nothing, he didn't even get a slap in his hand. But the attorney that represented this case really dropped the ball. And at some point, this has got to stop. Every time I talk to somebody, I hear about, well, we don't have someone, the ordinance has to be rewritten. You know, we just go around in circles. But it hasn't, nothing's happened.
Well, ma'am, we do have somebody now. When this was going on, we did not.
No, you did. Yes, you did.
Did we have him?
Yes, sir.
When did this happen?
John Chastain.
Part of that?
Was John here then?
Yes, yes, he was.
Wait a minute, Janet. Was he out there then?
on the scene, no.
Was he still working at that time or did?
Yes, he
This
was.
happened on March 23rd.
March 23rd?
He made it this year.
When did he retire? We
Okay.
got somebody now though, as you certified officer too.
He was there. John was there.
John ain't here now though. That's my
He was,
problem.
but he's the one who went out to the home of the man who owns the dogs. Yeah.
Hmm.
And the file, by the county attorney, the file was never looked at, by her own admission.
Well, I'll say this was a valuable lesson. It's a hard lesson to learn for all of us. I mean, especially on this end. We need to look at the files, I understand it. Yes.
That ordinance has been on the books for a long time.
You're right.
And what I was told, and I said, don't throw that crow
crutch at me. Oh, we need to rework that ordinance. No, we need to enforce the ordinance that is on the books. And this is not a learning curve. That's been on the books a long time.
Well, it's a
And
learning curve
this
for
was
me.
an opportunity for, I take it personally because I've worked rescue for a long time, and to try to make it better in this county for the animals. And when the county attorney is defeated by the court-appointed attorney that we also paid for, because the county attorney did not look at the video or the photographs or interview Yvonne D'Angelo, it's a sad day. Don't tell me the ordinance needs to be reworked, and don't tell me all of that. You need to enforce the ordinance that is on the books. And Yvonne D'Angelo, and I'm sorry, or let me pay you out of my pocket, I think looks really bad for the county, coming both from you and from the county attorney. Just my opinion.
Well, mine wasn't to cover up something. Mine was truly wanting to help you. But I understand that you thought I was trying to cover up something for Miss Dawson. I'm not doing that. I want to go on record as saying that. I was truly trying to help you with
I
something.
understand, but it's not the money.
I know it's not, but I was truly trying to help you. And, you know, I just kind of took offense to that because, you know, it is what it is, and I know everybody takes offense to anything anymore. I mean, you, honestly, there's so much negative in the world, you can't walk down that hall without somebody taking offense to it. So, and I apologize if you think I was trying to cover up for something, but I'll go on record right here for everybody and their brother watching it, that I was not. And I don't give lip service. If I tell you I'm gonna try to do something, I'll do my best. If I come up short, find somebody else. That's all I got to say.
How do
Yes,
we
ma'am.
fix what happened? That's the most
All
important.
we're
How do we
asking
fix what?
for is to have the
Seriously?
ordinance enforced, that's all.
And can we go back?
The state of Georgia changed its rules
Okay?
as to who can enforce a code
Oh, I
July
understand that.
first. So we can't change, we have to change our ordinance to comply with that. As you and I both know, we looked in Mr. Chastain's office for a file. There was no file. In the file that's in the magistrate court, there were no pictures. I think it was a sheriff's officer that went out that night. There was no sheriff's citation issued.
That is very sad for our county then, if that's the way it was.
Well, I do know that we have hired a officer that, is in that gen, that is a certified Georgia peace officer. He can stroke a ticket or a citation.
Well, wasn't there a summons or a citation? How did he wind up in court with an attorney that our tax dollars paid for then?
It was a summons.
Okay, so we were progressing, and were those videos uploaded to the county, animal control computer? So therefore, weren't they part of the county? Okay.
Yep.
So there was a file. If anybody had cared enough to ask Yvonne D'Angelo at the time, I mean, she's the one who lost her animals, so she and her chickens are the victims here. It would seem to me, if I were representing the county on this case, I would have at least had the decency to have called her, and she could have told you where those pictures and files were. Not that that should be her duty. I would think the county, if they have a case, they should be finding out where those pictures and videos are.
Did this
I'm
go to
sorry.
court?
Yeah.
And I don't think you were trying to pay her off.
It's not over.
Hensley.
Oh, well, we shouldn't be talking. So there's not,
I just can't say anything else.
We can't hear back here.
She says it's not over, but she can't discuss it.
because it's still into the court.
I thought there was a plea deal
No,
already.
it
and
don't
that
say,
was-
if it's still, if a judge is not, no.
So the magistrate has not signed off on it yet?
That's what I was just told.
But okay, that doesn't go with what
So
I
that would
said.
give us a chance to go back and look. Okay.
So it can be opened, that case can be reopened?
Go find out.
I don't know, because I don't know if our ordinance, as it exists now, allows the people that we had on staff at the time to issue the appropriate citation under the existing law of the state of Georgia. I know that our ordinance has not been updated since the law changed.
Well, let me ask you a question. Can we take the evidence that Lucas got? You got a copy of that film?
So
Can we?
that's what I'm telling you, I don't know the answer to.
Well, if I can, this is what I'm trying to say. I can go get a warrant on somebody if I've got some type of evidence and go see the magistrate. Can't he, as animal control, take that same evidence along with that deputy's report and obtain some kind of,
Okay, I don't think there's a deputy's report.
The sheriff
But
is
the-
who issued the summons on this, not animal control.
Working in conjunction with him, trouble, right?
The sheriff's who issued the summons.
Okay.
so an incident report, you didn't have a copy of an incident report?
Was there an initial incident report from the sheriff's office? You got a case number from the sheriff's office?
Yeah.
If you got a case number with that film, that should be, I've locked people up with less evidence than that.
That's right, we could have somebody convicted of murder.
Back 'em up.
Sure.
Seriously.
Julie Wood in Fannin County. I know you guys are all tired of hearing about animal control. Animal control is tired of hearing about animal control. They did this case right. Animal control was out there. Luke was out there, the sheriff went out there. Pictures were done. Yvonne suffered an attack. As you guys know, I've also suffered that same attack, other than my loss was $20,000. I don't know where the valuation came up that you did for her 4 chickens. We're not even gonna count the other 8. She did not have hatchery chickens. Her chickens were show quality. Do you know those that go for $250 a chicken? That's not even adding in the food, the loss of egg production, what it takes to raise. So I'm gonna ask all of you guys sitting up here. I'm sure you've all had a favorite pet, whether it's a dog or whatever. I want you to imagine having that dog. You're out in your yard with your children or your grandchildren, and all of a sudden your neighbor's dog comes and in front of you, and in front of your children and your grandchildren, you watch as that dog attacks your dog, and it tears it apart, and the dog is screaming, and your dog dies. Because that's what we suffered. Just because our pets are not the same as what you guys might have, doesn't make them less than. Lynn Doss never called Yvonne, not one time. Yvonne actually, she took time off work because there was supposed to be a court case. She went to the court case, only to be told that it had been canceled. She was never notified by our county attorney. She wasn't notified by the county attorney that a plea deal was done. She was notified from the clerk and was told, well, we've already, there was a plea deal, he's gotta pay you $160, there's gonna be a $150 fine. How is that okay for Yvonne? Her chicken, one of her chickens was worth more than that. Is the fact that Lynn Doss did not open a file because she told Yvonne she didn't know a human was involved. How do you not know a human's involved? Why was there not one phone call? Anybody that's getting ready to go to court, you're gonna talk to the victim. You know there's a victim in every single crime. Why was that victim not notified one time from the county attorney? So what this is, animal control has worked very, very diligently trying to change what the public perceives. Their county attorney slapped him in the face and let him down. And it's an absolute embarrassment when you're getting this far with animal control to literally say, what gives them the incentive to do the next case? If the county attorney's not gonna back them, why are they gonna do the next case? It makes absolutely no sense. And then I'm hearing about the ordinances. I remember sitting in your office 3 years ago with a lot of other people. We brought in things from other county shelters in order to go through the ordinances. Do you remember what you said to me at that meeting? We'll have them by the end of the year.
We hope to.
And
We
the
did.
next, I know you didn't, but the next year, same thing, it's been 3 years, they're still not done. But you can't tell me that an ordinance that's on the books, that you had on the books, is not enforceable. It was a law enforcement officer that made that summons. It wasn't animal control that made it. So that, there's no reason that that could not, obviously it went to court, because it was in front of Brian Jones. Jan talked to Brian Jones on Monday. He said that he never, his words to Jan, because I had told her, I said, he still has a chance to where he can deny it, and then it goes back to the table. Brian Jones told her that that's not the way they do it. When it comes across his desk, if the attorneys have agreed, they sign off, he signs off on it, and it's a done deal. Yvonne is the victim. Her animals are the victim. Just because her pet, she didn't lose them to a hawk. She didn't lose them to a bear. She didn't lose them to a coyote. She lost them to her dog, to the dogs. These dogs, animal control has dealt with them before. Humane Society has dealt with these dogs before. Freedom for Fido went out and put a fence up for this guy before. The dogs are still roaming. 2 days ago, there was another thing on Facebook, these dogs are still out. What Vaughn wanted and what all of us want, we want accountability for the ones that have their dogs that are roaming, because it's not fair that we're losing our pets. He has no accountability. $160 fine is not even a slap on his pinky finger. Dogs are still out roaming. Animal control was called over a yellow lab who was shot in the head because that dog went after somebody's chickens. If the ordinance on file were to be enforced, that dog would still be alive. These dogs should not have to be shot because the owner cannot be responsible. So what is the county solution at this point to start holding them accountable? Because $160 fine, that's not doing it. Slap on the wrist isn't doing it. So what are you guys gonna do to make sure our animals are safe? Because they're not. When I had my attack, I was told to put a fence up. I put $60,000 into putting a fence up. And guess what? I've still got stray dogs that are coming on my property. One time having my gate open is all it's gonna take for that dog to come in and kill my animals. So at what point are we respected as citizens in this county to where the county cares about what our animals need, what we need? That's not including the people that are terrified of dogs that have to run into them all the time. So what is the county solution on this? Because we're fed up. What happened to Yvonne should have never happened. And your county attorney should have at least had the decency to give her a phone call as a neighbor and as a county attorney for Fannin County. It's a slap in her face. And it's a slap in the face of animal control who took the time to do this job right.
Again. Anyone else? All right, close public commentary. Like man said, gentlemen, any executive session tonight?
I have no chair.
All right, nor do I, so I'll make a motion, we adjourn and ask for a second. All in favor?